Hello, today's video is going to be a lengthy, slightly nerdy, potentially boring, very long video, but hopefully you might like it. So let's say roll titles. So in today's video, we are delving into the world of the Raspberry Pi. This is the Raspberry Pi. In this tiny box is a computer. I'm not kidding. Now, Raspberry Pis have been around for years, and they were originally designed to be like a very cheap computer for use in third world countries. And they've been very, very successful. But now they've sort of taken on a slightly different role, and a lot of geeks use them for all manner of geeky things. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And this little gadget will be used to power my home, in theory anyway. Yeah, I'm going to be using Home Assistant, which is a bit of free software that you can install on the Raspberry Pi and use an app on your phone. And basically it brings all the different ecosystems of home automation together into one handy to use app. That's the theory, at least. Now, as ever with these videos, I've done very little research. And so basically, I'm in no way an expert in Home Assistant or Raspberry Pi. I'm essentially just like you. I mean, your grandma probably knows about this more than I do, but I thought what we'd do is we'd go on a journey together and hopefully make some magic. It'll probably go wrong. These things invariably do, but yeah, I thought we'd give it a go together. So the first stage of this journey is getting this out of the box and making it look a little bit more like a computer. And to do that, I have got this. Now, as you can see, this is a Pi enclosure, and basically it's a teeny tiny computer case that will protect the circuit board of the Pi and make it look less like I've just dumped a circuit board on the side. So to start off this video, what we're going to do is we're going to get this Pi out of the box and put it into that box and make it look a bit like a computer. And then what we'll do further on in the video is we'll go over to my desk and we'll actually set up the software on the Raspberry Pi and make it basically switch on and hopefully boot into Home Assistant and just work. So before I continue, please do give this video a thumbs up if you like the sound of it already, and also if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. I imagine there will be a few videos on this as my journey continues, but I think this video will generally be just me setting up the Pi, getting it working, going into Home Assistant, setting up a few bits and bobs, and then once I've had a bit more of a play and then looked at Home Assistant, then hopefully I can give you a bit more guidance and show you how I've set up my home. But yeah, it should be interesting. So without further ado, let's get this Pi out of the case and into this case. Right, okay, so in theory, I think there's literally just a circuit board in here. So I've opted for the Raspberry Pi 4, which is the latest version, and it comes with 4 GB of RAM. There are different versions available with different RAM configurations. I'll put the pricing on the screen now. So there we go. That is literally a computer right there. So what have we got on it? We've got some, we've got a USB-C port there. I think these are mini HDMI, micro HDMI. They're HDMI ports of some description. So we've got a little sound output here. We've got some USB ports here, and we've got a wired network connection right there. And this little connector here is for a camera. This little connector here is for a display. And I think this is just the sort of general connector shenanigans. But yeah, this is an entire computer on this tiny board that's probably not too dissimilar in size to a credit card. That is super smart. Right, now let's look at this case. Now you can get all kinds of different cases. This one basically seemed to be the least ugly, fairly cheap, and you know, you can get some with built-in screens and like proper wild and wacky ones, but I just thought this one would be perfect, and it is. Oh, actually, I did forget to mention on the bottom of the computer this micro SD card reader, and basically you install any software that you're using on this onto this micro SD card. So the Home Assistant operating system that I'm going to install will go on to a micro SD card that will go into there. So let's see if I can fathom out this case without destroying it. Oh, okay, there we go. So it comes with some heat sinks that will help dissipate the heat whilst it's in the case. I'm not sure these are entirely needed, but it all helps. So here we've got a fan that will keep things cool. I'm not entirely sure if a fan is warranted, but this is going to be on 24/7, so I guess it all helps. And in this little bag we've got some screws and even a free screwdriver. Brilliant. And then what else is in here? Okay, so we've just got some further screws and some sticky feet that I assume that will just stop it from slipping off, because it is so lightweight. Once you've got a few cables in here, it could just go whee and slide off. There's really not all that much to it. I think this cover pops off as well if you want to access any of those additional ports, but I don't really, so it can just stay on there. But I think first of all, I need to stick the heat sinks on, so I'll do that. Again, a little bit wonky, but what are you going to do about it? Right, so I'm guessing these screws included with the little rubber feet are the ones that mount it into the case, I think. I genuinely can't believe that this is a computer. It's mad. I mean, obviously, you know, you look at mobile phones and those are even more impressive, but yeah, I don't know, it's just quite cool, isn't it? Okay. I'm not going to use the included screwdriver because it looks a bit pony. And as ever, when you're screwing electric things, it's always best to go from corner to corner and not do it stupidly tight. So the idea of this is it's going to be sort of tucked away, probably next to my router, and just on all the time, just being like a little controller of the home. I think it links up with pretty much every single home automation stuff going, like all the different ecosystems. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool seeing how it works. Okay, so next job is to mount the fan onto here. I'm not entirely sure where the fan gets power from. Also, I'm not sure which way the fan should be round. I think it should be this way round. I don't feel entirely confident, but you know, I guess it's no big deal. We can always change it around afterwards. So that is the fan screwed in. I think it's the right way around. I hope it's the right way around, but you know, we can try and figure it out. But more importantly, I don't know how the fan plugs in. There's no sort of fan header. So I think what I'm going to have to do is Google it. One moment, please. Okay, so I found a pinout for it online. So I'll stick that up in the picture so you can see it. But from what I can see, the third pin in from the left is a ground. So that would be a black normally. And then we've got a 5-volt in next to it, the second pin in. So there we go. So let's make sure you can see that. Right, what I'm going to do actually, before I just sort of go and start installing software on it. I'm just going to make sure the fan is correctly plugged in and make sure it spins up. So let's do that. So the Raspberry Pi gets power from the USB-C port, and it does seem to have a fairly specific power requirement. So rather than using one of my many mobile phone power adapters and things that are knocking around, I thought I'd buy a proper one. There are official Raspberry Pi branded ones, but I just had a little look on Amazon and found this one that had quite good reviews and seemed to do the job. So I'll stick a link to that along with everything else in the description for this. But yeah, this one seems to whack out a solid 5 volts at 3000 milliamps, which is what the Raspberry Pi requires. And also it does have an inline power switch, because obviously there's no power on and off button on this. It's just kind of on the whole time unless it doesn't have power to it. Okay, so this has just got a clicky button, so power is off now. Let's plug it in. I don't know why, but I'm really worried that it's going to explode. I know it's not going to explode, but you know, it's just part of me that thinks it's just going to go bang. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. There we go. Okay, so it's got some little LEDs flashing away. And yeah, the fan seems to be exhausting, which I wanted it to do. Awesome. Yep, that's perfect. Brilliant. That's really good. Okay, so let me just turn it off. It's a bit annoying that it's got that. But you know, this is my first foray into the world of Raspberry Pi, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Perfect. So there we go. Plug it in. Okay, well that is it all in its case and set up and in theory working. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over to my desk and we'll get the software installed and get it up and running, hopefully. So yeah, join me back in a second at my desk. So we're at the desk with the Raspberry Pi, and it's time to get it set up and get Home Assistant installed onto it. I've never done this process before, so I'm essentially going through it all with you in relative real time. I mean, obviously I'll cut out the rubbish bits, but you know, hopefully it should be a fairly good guide on how to install it, and I'll show you my screen so you can see what we're doing. So what do we need? Well, we obviously need the Raspberry Pi, we need the power cable, and also it recommends having an Ethernet cable, so I've got all of those. And we also need a micro SD card, one of those guys. Now, it's best not to cheap out on micro SD cards at any time, but I think especially so when you're going to be using it for something like this, where you just want it to work constantly in the background, and you know, you just want something stable and reliable. So yeah, I always use SanDisk SD cards. I always make sure that I get them from somewhere reputable like Amazon rather than somewhere like wish.com. So yeah, we need to get the software onto that SD card and hopefully boot up the Raspberry Pi. So let me show you my screen and we'll go through that process together. Okay, so we're heading to the Home Assistant web page, and it's home-assistant.io, and this is what it looks like. And we need to go to getting started and then installation. So we're going to follow the Raspberry Pi guide because we're using a Raspberry Pi, and there you go. It's sort of listing all the things that we need, the suggested hardware. It does run on a Raspberry Pi 3, so if you've got one of those, then you can use that. And yeah, I think we've got everything covered there. So now we need to put the boot image, basically the thing that will make the Raspberry Pi wake up into a computer, onto the SD card. So we need to use a Balena Etcher. So we'll do that. So I'll put my micro SD card into my card reader. Now it's really important, anything that is on this SD card will be gone, will be wiped clean. So make sure you know you haven't got your wedding photos on there or something. Right, okay, so I'll plug that into the computer. so that can do its thing. There we go, it's found it, that's cool. Right, we won't worry about that for the moment. We need to download and start Balena Etcher. Yeah, we'll download it for Windows. Okay, so let's go back from here. Right, so that's ready to run and set up, so we'll do that. I'll show you the process. I agree. Much like the window shown on the help page, it's there and ready to go. So we want a Raspberry Pi 4 64-bit, and we want to flash from URL, and here is the URL. So I'll copy that, and we'll go to this and flash from URL, enter a valid URL. That's a valid URL. There we go. And it wants to flash onto drive E, which is the SD card, so that's all good. So we just do flash. There we go. Seems to be a relatively quick process. Do hope this works. It'll be terribly embarrassing if it doesn't. Nearly done, 99%. Finishing up, perfect, validating. Think we are there. Just noticed the Balena Sound multi-room audio streaming via Bluetooth, AirPlay or Spotify Connect to any old speakers or hi-fi. I do worry that I'm going to fall down a Raspberry Pi rabbit hole and the house will be filled with these things, but we'll see. There we go, right. So Windows is a bit confused now because it's like it doesn't recognize the file system, so that's okay. So we will safely eject the media from the computer and we can crack on with the rest of the process. Yeah, we've done all that, done all that, done all that, done all that. Right, okay, so we've got to insert the boot media we have created into the Raspberry Pi and power it on the network. So in theory, can we click on this and start it up? No. Okay. Oh, hang on. No. There we go, look. It's just sprung into life. Preparing Home Assistant. Amazing. So yeah, basically I was just being impatient. It takes a moment or two. So it says this can take up to 20 minutes. Well, we'll come back in a second when hopefully 20 minutes hasn't passed and it's quicker than that, but we'll see. Anyway, back in a mo. Oh, while this is doing, if you're interested, then you can join this channel. And if you join the channel from the $4.99 and above tier, then you get to see videos like these before anyone else. And there's like a whole heap of other benefits as well. So it'd be awesome if you wanted to help out and join in, so feel free.
One eternity later.
Okay, so that was actually a lot less than 20 minutes. It was probably about 5 minutes, if that. So yeah, we've got this handy little screen here to get us set up. So okay, I'll put my name. I'll just keep it informal. Right, got to think of a password. Well, you guys can't see that. Cool, right, and then create account. Okay, so name of our Home Assistant installation, suggesting home, that seems as good as any. And needs to know whereabouts we are. Not there, but yeah, let's just, let's keep it vague for the moment, I guess. Right, what other things have we got there? Currency, yep. Metric, yep, that's fine. We're in Europe, London. Elevation, I don't know our elevation. That'll do. Right, okay, so next. Share anonymised information with your installation to help make Home Assistant better and help us convince manufacturers to add local control and privacy focused features. Yeah, why not? Oh wow, look at this. So it's actually detected things that are on the network already that it can actually help with. So it's got the Elgato lights, it's got Philips Hue stuff, it's got Spotify. Okay, cool. That's really good. Oh, okay. So you can click more if it hasn't detected them. And let's have a little look at some of the things that it covers. Wow. There's so much stuff here. Goodness me. That is insane. Does it do Logitech Harmony? Yes, it does. So I've got like Harmony Hub remote control. So wow. This, I think I'm going to fall down a massive rabbit hole of Home Assistant because it does seem to cover like everything. Lutron lighting, wow. Okay, I had no idea just how much stuff it covered. That is mental. And Philips TV as well. Got one of those. You can see an unboxing video of my Philips TV up there or up there. One of those places. I think it's up there. Awesome. Ring. Oh man. Has it got Nest as well? Did I miss Nest? Got Nest. Brilliant. Okay, so this is good. So should we just try playing about with the Philips Hue? Right, I've got to go and press the button on the hub. Back in a second. Right, done that. So it's literally found all the things on there. Wow. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, right. Okay, let's finish and see where we get to. Whoa! So already it's just found like everything. So you can see the outputs from the sensors. It's got like the temperature of. This is insane. So in theory, I should be able to turn on. Wow. So hang on. Let me just turn off my filming lights. Okay, and hopefully if I turn that on. That is so smart. This is mad. So you can see like all the lights and sensors we've got. And look, it shows you like a log of everything. This is mad. Okay, so shall I see? Oh, I can add the Elgato lights. So that's the light strip behind me. Oh, okay, I can assign it to the office. So that's the light behind me as well. Assign that to the office. So I'm like proper excited. So you can add multiple people as well. So I think you can install the app on your phone, and I think it will then everyone in the house can have access to this and then control it and stuff like that. This is just insane. Edit dashboard. Oh, okay, so you can just move things around. What kind of cards can we add? This is mental. There's so much stuff on here. I honestly don't know where I'm going to start with it. It had like my, it's even got my amplifier on here. Let's see what we can do with that. So that is in the living room. So look, you can set stuff up to do different things. Like you can make stuff happen when like the amplifier comes on. So you could make it dim the lights in the living room. Because usually when the amplifier comes on, that means I've switched on the TV. Honestly, this is insane. This is going to keep me busy for quite a while. Yeah, I think there's going to be like a lot of sorting out, like adding stuff into different rooms and areas and zones and all that kind of stuff. But this could be very interesting indeed. I'm looking forward to having a bit more of a play with this.
That's what she said.
I think before we go, I'm going to just try setting up the app on my phone. because I think that would be interesting to see how that works. Let's make it so you can see my screen, and we'll go in and sort this out. Okay, so I've got the Home Assistant app there. Okay, so straight away it's found our installation. Okay, so I need to log in with the details that I put in. Enable location tracking, that's good. That's fine. Okay. I'll allow it all the time, that's fine by me. Stop optimizing battery usage, yes, allow it. Cool, so I'm just going to change this to Kip's phone. Just, you know, nice, easy thing to spot. There we go. Cool, finish. There we go. So once again, it's a bit like the whole dashboard that I showed that was on the screen. In theory. Nice, that is smart. I like that a lot. Yeah, the app's just got an identical layout to the interface that's on the computer, so that's awesome. Right, okay, well, I guess now there's time for me to play with it and just get involved and set everything up and configure it. What I might do is like a follow-up video, perhaps, showing how I've used it and how I've set it up and what things I can do with it. But yeah, give me some time to just play with it and get an idea of what I'm doing, because this is all brand new to me. But you've seen like the whole procedure from setting it up to getting it installed. So you've seen the whole procedure from building the Raspberry Pi to getting it set up, and it's all been really quite straightforward. I haven't had to, there's been no sort of bits I've had to cut because it's not worked. That is really quite incredible. So yeah, if you are interested in seeing my Home Assistant journey further, then please do subscribe to the channel, and I will update with some more videos in the future, hopefully. That is about it from me now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon for some more vlogging fun. See ya!